Welcome in. What's the matter?
What the hell? I'm all for it.
Hey,
Why not?
gotta get North Korea on board somehow, right?
Yeah, man. North Korea needs to join the empire.
And this is what we like to call a rib.
Fucking we're gonna discuss a little bit of that actually.
Yeah.
If this is a rib, then what is a work? And what is a shoot?
Yeah.
And all this lingo comes from terminology from wrestling, right? But
Yeah.
why does the government utilize it?
Because 9/11 was an inside Bob.
9/11 didn't actually happen. Building 7 didn't collapse. All those people in Flight 93, they were taken to an oasis in the Bahamas and
Yes.
given $300 million in funny money.
That they stole from the Treasury Department the day before. You see, ladies and gentlemen,
That is pretty odd that is actually what happened, everybody. They stole money
9/11
from the treasury.
is a mirror. Oh, I can't see it.
Well, I
It's a
can't see
mirror
you.
here.
I
And you
just
see a
see,
little reflection there?
yeah, I see.
Mirror.
All I see is two underage North Korean girls being held by Trump. Obvious underage North Korean girls.
Yes, obviously. That's why they're Asian.
So
Isn't that
just
what Count Dankula said? They're Asian.
they're Asian.
Yes.
They're Asian.
Yes.
Hmm.
See, Trump may have went to Lolita Island and Lolita Express and say hi to Jeff Epstein. He knew who to go to. He went to Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, he didn't need to go to Jeff.
Yeah.
He had Kim,
Yeah.
and I
And his
mean,
concubine. Those are actually his
mhm.
concubine. He's just really excited behind them. So
Sounds like he just shot off a little bit. Just a little premature ejaculation.
yeah.
So we're disgusting, everybody. We're sick. We have sick minds, and bear with us as we try to figure out what we're going to discuss. In the meantime, let's get back on the train of intellectual expertise or lack thereof and try to find big words. That's right, big words, like Donald Trump would say, big words.
The best
And
words, believe me.
the best words, big words, the best words, believe me. And we will build that wall and we will have 100,000 14-year-old.
Mexicans pay for it.
I was gonna say we were gonna lock up a bunch of 14-year-old underage Asian prostitutes because it's Donald Trump's world and we're just a part of it, baby.
Yeah, but I mean, you did hear he said we're enemies of the state now in his latest speech.
Wait, wait, hold up. I don't pay attention to much. He had a
Yeah,
latest speech and who is
he had a rally and he said we are all enemies of the state now.
we are all enemies of the state. I know I'm an enemy of the state. I know you're the enemy of the state, but I don't think he's the enemy of the state. I think that's all a work.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a shoot,
Mm,
could be a work.
could be a shoot, but at the same time, there's a reason why Donald Trump was given the office of president
Yeah.
because everybody's selected, nobody's elected. Your vote doesn't matter. Go fuck yourself, you dumbass Trump tard. Go back to your trailer. Wait for the first of the month. Get your food stamps. Go to the grocery store. Buy your fucking beer with your food stamps. You worthless piece of lazy garbage. Yeah, that's right. I told you off. It's the Trumpers that are the worthless welfare recipients. I've
Yeah.
never met any Trump tard that wasn't a welfare recipient, unless it was somebody who's a neocon liberal boomer moron that's just stuck in the past and has
Republica.
already, yeah, the Republica. They're voting for Trump because they perceive him as better than the other person. I mean, most of those people voted for Biden. Like
Mm,
most people, most boomers, I'm sorry, voted for Biden because they realized they screwed up with Trump on their choice, because the only reason they voted for Trump was because they didn't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. It's a tit for tat. It's who is the lesser of two evils at the time, realistically. But when you have these moronic, retarded, like QAnon type idiots, these are the motherfuckers. I mean, the build that wall, give me my job, motherfucker. You ain't ever had a job in your whole goddamn life. You're like Charles III, 73 years old, finally occupied, or finally has an occupation.
yeah. Look at
Hail
me.
King Charles.
I'm the queen now.
You are the queen. I think you
You
are a
can
queen.
dance. You can try.
You should actually
Having the
make
time of your life.
someone need you need to make a video of that. You need to
Oh,
splice
I'll
together a
cut it. I'll
video.
cut it. I'll cut
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Cut
Yeah. See.
something with cut something like the bumper to this piece here on YouTube will be that song. Will probably get copyrighted. Who cares? Fair use, baby. We're reviewing it. We're reviewing it. YouTube, we're gonna review that song right there. What's it called?
uh,
Having the having the time of your life.
yeah.
Yeah, or
Like the
Dancing
guys
Queen.
behind me, they're having the
Dancing
time of
Queen.
their life.
Yeah. Like the guys behind you. Dancing Queen, that's what it's called. Dancing Queen
Yeah.
YouTube. We're gonna have a bumper
By
with
Ava.
Dancing Queen. Yeah, it's fair use. We are reviewing it. We're just adding our little finishing touches with some images and some
Mm,
clips of Charles,
yeah.
of King Charles III.
Yeah. So.
Can't
Ding
wait.
dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Has he been coronated yet?
I don't know.
I don't think he had. Usually they don't coronate until the funeral. God knows
Yeah.
when that's gonna be. Probably next week. The
Two
whole
weeks
world.
off, man. I wish I got 2 weeks off.
Hey, that's one good thing about the constitutional monarchy up in England. They get 2 weeks off
Yeah, man.
because the Queen
The
died.
whole country just shuts down. Wow,
They
we didn't
do.
have that experience in 2020 and 2021. The whole global world just shuts down for months at a time, and there's no
Two,
backlash.
2 weeks to flatten the king
Mm.
or queen in this case. Queen. 2 weeks to flatten the queen.
She's
That's
kind of
sick.
stiff now.
Yeah, she is a little stiff.
Don't worry, we can get Glenn Jacobs up on this.
Mm-hmm.
He's used to that kind of job. He's a big worker. So
So what do you think happened with the Queen, by the way? Speaking of that, rest in peace. Sorry, England. I don't really care. I don't believe in monarchs, but you know what? I do
you're not
believe that the
you're
fact
not
I
simping for the Queen because you divorced the King.
no, I don't care about democracy either. And the constitutional monarchy is a fallacy. First off, politics. Yeah, and second off, I mean, what's the point?
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't see your head. Can you see my body?
I can see your chair.
Okay.
hmm
Thank you.
So, but sorry, I have my iPad on my that I'm recording this from on my lap. I like to sit in a comfortable chair every now and again, sit at a
It's okay.
table and be. And I don't like being stiff either.
Man, you must be gay.
Is that a gay? Gay as
I,
in Ghey?
I don't know. Just
What are the what
figure
are
it
the
out for
kids?
yourself, man. It's your life. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna tell you what to do with it.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that guy, that big fat North Korean man behind you, see, he seems like he might be a little gay. He's a
Yeah.
little joyful. He's a little excited.
Yeah.
He's jolly. He's full of jolly.
He can
Look
have
at that.
whoever he wants whenever he wants it, man.
hmm
There's no questions asked.
Oh, and he picks the guy in the red USA hat right now.
Yeah.
giving a weird face like I just grabbed him by the pussy. And in reality, I just grabbed him. In reality, Donald Trump is saying he's thinking to himself, I wish I could grab him by the penis, but he has to grab them by the
Mm,
foot. He has to grab all them girls by the
yeah,
vagina.
it's just not. It's not a big enough challenge. He can't just have multiple women. He's got to have men too.
He has to. He has to. He has to. I mean, at least it's better than Joe Biden. I mean, at least
Yeah,
he's not sniffing a bunch of 8-year-olds.
yeah. He's just sniffing a bunch of Asians.
He's sniffing a bunch of Asians and grabbing them by the pussy.
Oh God.
Donald Trump, I'm calling you out. You want to come up on the show? I want to talk to you, Donald. I
Yeah,
really want to talk to you. I want to know why you are a despicable human being,
because
just
he's an
like
eight wing
Hillary.
seven who dislikes women.
That's true.
I mean, all eight wing sevens just can't have enough women.
Mm, yeah, he can't have enough women, so he moves on to men.
Yeah.
Predominantly his son, the younger one.
Well, we're not supposed to talk about that. It's in the
Yeah,
diary
it probably is. It is in the diary. Wait, which
that the
diary?
FBI is holding.
The FBI, the FBI that Trump put in place, the
Yeah,
director that he appointed,
yeah,
and yet they are after him. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a work, everybody. It is a work. And if you
These
don't
people
believe
play
me,
golf with each other. Why don't
they,
you understand? This is a big joke. This is all
it is a joke.
theatrics. They're
It,
borrowing money to
it,
steal from your
it's,
kids to play in a role.
hmm
If
it's,
you have
it's,
kids,
it's
if
like
you can
the event.
afford kids.
It's like it's so stupid, and people are so stupid that they'll believe it, that it's almost like people believing Mr. McMahon actually blew his limo up and killed himself, and then the next week he shows back up to say, Chris Benoit's dead. We're gonna
Yeah,
cancel the show and have a memorial service and a tribute to him. And then a day later retract from that because turns out, oh, he killed his family. We need to step back from that. We don't talk about that.
no, we
Speaking
just
of
talk about
works,
9/11.
we talk about 9/11. 9/11 was not an inside job.
It was an
9/11
inside
was
Bob.
it was an inside bomb, and the Saudis are good people. The king, I don't know what is his name. I don't know what his name is. Good people. The heir
Yeah.
to the throne. Uh, I forgot his name too. Who cares? I don't want to butcher it. They're good people. The Saudi family,
Ahmadinejad.
Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad
I did a
Hassan,
job. He did a
it's
job, man. It
he
was
did
just
a
getting
job.
paid.
He was just getting paid.
That's why
Iran,
the
man, that
passport
is
was found at the base of the tower. He just did a job. Do you give a shit? I
who I
stopped
give a
giving a
shit
shit a
about.
long time ago.
I stopped giving a shit when I opened my eyes.
No, I stopped giving a
Stephanie.
shit when I did a Biden or Trump. Just depends on
Mm.
where I'm at.
Well, depends on what you call a Trump. I know we call a Biden a poop.
I can't go inside that Lowe's anymore.
hmm You can't go inside that Lowe's. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't know why I talk about it.
Did you take a Biden in the furniture aisle or the flooring aisle? You took a
No,
Biden in the middle of the flooring aisle, didn't you?
no.
Yeah. Just sat down next to a tray of Subway tile, and just pulled your pants down, squatted, turds fall out. Somebody walks out, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, what do you think I'm doing?
Taking a
When you
dump.
gotta when you gotta go, right?
I don't do public
Where
bathrooms. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's either I shit myself or I shit right here because I ain't going into that bathroom
I mean, they
and
are
I gotta go.
models.
Oh, oh, you were in the plumbing? Oh,
Yes.
I thought you took a shit and did you really actually?
No.
That would have been great. That would have been great if that was a shoot.
Well, I mean, if I'm on vacation or something like that in the middle of nowhere, why not? They're not gonna know who I am by the time they get the police out there. I'm gonna be long gone.
That is true. Depends on where you went to vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you went to Texas or California, you'd probably be arrested on the spot because those two states are communist. Yes, I said it. Texas is just as communist as California.
Well, I mean, like, I'm gonna try to show a little respect. I'm in San Francisco. I'm gonna use the facilities like an adult. Just happens to be in the middle of the public. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
the French
it
used to have urinal stands out in the public on the sidewalk.
that is true. I mean, and they did legalize homelessness, so you could use a phone booth. They
Yeah.
still have those, right?
Yeah.
At least in San Francisco.
You know, I used to do security, and that the medical college that I was working at, I had other places I had to work, and I worked at a law school, and the homeless would come up and just do that right there on the steps at night.
Now you know why they now you know why they passed that law in Tennessee.
What law? There's no law. Law is a myth.
Yeah, well, that myth that they're trying to make it perceived as a law.
Yeah. So was this a work or a shoot?
This
Is this a rib?
I'm thinking
Is this a
this picture
job?
behind. Yeah, I think you're jobbing me right now.
At
Are
least
you
somebody's
working me
jobbing you.
over? Hmm,
Man's got to have needs.
that's just I don't
I
want
know.
you to nope. Stay away from me, man. Ending call. Click.
Curtain call? Okay.
So you want to know if this photo is why don't we ask our listeners or our viewers or however you view this? We want comments. We want comments. We want interaction.
Don't
People
say anything. He's just looking for attention. He's a narcissist
who
like me.
who Donald Trump? Yes, he is. No, if you really if you want to know if you want to throw down in the comments what you think this picture is it a rib? Is it a work? Or is it a shoot? Or is it a
Story
job?
at 11.
Store at
We
11?
got pulled, man. It's like on Seinfeld. I need hand. You're gonna have plenty of hand.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need.
Got plenty of hand right there.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh, well,
7, 8,
I was counting pairs.
9.
So
Okay.
yeah, two, yeah, eight. Yeah, you got 12 hands right there.
Yeah. That's enough hand to grab a lot of pussy.
Mm-hmm. Or a lot of buttholes if you're Devo Sweeney.
No. Well,
Yeah, fuck you, Clemson.
I don't know, man. I
I'm
just
just
work.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I hope they do. I hope they have a fantastic 9-3 season.
Mm.
Not that I hate
So,
Clemson. It's that I hate Dabo. I think he's a smug asshole.
work, shoot, job, jobber, rib.
I think Dabo when he gets in front of a camera, he likes to rib people a lot.
What about getting over? What does that mean? Are we getting
Well,
over? Will we ever get
prob-
over? Will we
yeah,
elicit an emotional reaction?
I hope so. I hope we elicit emotional reaction to this clip right here.
Yeah. Here comes the money. Here we go. Here
Download
comes
that.
the money. Money, money, money,
Shane
money, money.
O'Mac. Where's Shane O'Mac? No longer with WWE.
Yeah. Okay. So here's some more terms that aren't wrestling related. What is negative rate?
You asking me or you asking people? If you're asking me,
I'd like
I'll
you to
answer.
define it. Yeah.
A negative right is well, put it simple. A negative right is what you already have naturally just by being born. You have the right to live because you have the right to be born. You have the right to be left alone. You have the right to associate or dissociate from whomever. And you have the right to, yeah, just be. Nobody can defile your negative rights. When those try to defile those negative rights, you start hiding on camera. Yeah, but when somebody tries to place authority upon you, tries to remove your negative rights, which is what we term positive law interaction,
Yeah.
they're they're attempting to tell you that you have no
Grandfather.
natural rights.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're grandfathered into a system in which we give you, we make what are your rights. We give you the privileges that say you can do this, you can do that, but at one instance, we can take your rights away. We can take those privileges away, and that's what positive rights are. Positive rights are just privileges that are utilized for the benefit of one while taking away the natural benefits of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, no, and property, et cetera, which would be three negative rights um, away. So you rob from Peter to pay Paul, you have positive law, you have positive rights, you have a welfare state.
So, what happens if there's a strong emotional reaction and people scream for a response?
Uh, you ignore them or you slap them in the face. It's really up to you, honestly. I mean, if you want to slap them in the face, sure, but you're probably going to get a much more extreme and even louder screech, and it's just never going to go away. So you walk away. You don't got to deal with
So,
that bullshit.
so we're under attack, and it elicits a strong emotional reaction. We need something done. We need a Patriot Act. We need an
Uh,
echelon system.
we need a federalized police force, right?
Mm.
Mm,
You no longer have negative rights, you have positive rights that the government guarantees
hmm
to deliver by stealing from you
You
more and more,
deliver.
by
We
grandfathering your options to
hmm
leave, by building a wall.
hmm and that's so speaking of the wall and we were talking about Donald Trump. That's the and what's funny is the Biden administration wants to continue that option as well because it's all based on imprisonment of you.
Mm.
So with that, the build of wall cycle and why you Trumptards are idiots for believing that it's a good thing, you welfare recipient morons, um, and are the epitome of little cockroaches that are worse than a dirty little liberal. um, I can deal with a liberal. I can walk away. A Trump card, you can go kill yourself. Um, seriously, I can divorce myself from a liberal. Because
Well, you
technically,
can't because they're just a conservative that's driving the speed limit in reverse. They're speeding.
yeah, but
Michael
it's
Malice,
Michael
look him
Malice
up.
is great. Michael Malice is great. But
I just butchered that quote, but you know what I meant.
well, you get the gist of it. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was
You can
talking
divorce a
shit
liberal,
about.
but you can't divorce a conservative.
You really can't because the conservative is just going to be all up in your shit no matter what. But about the
I'm
wall,
offended.
yeah, about the wall scenario, the fact that it's all a work,
Yeah.
it's an extension of what the Patriot Act and the Patriot Act 2 and
Electric Boogaloo.
the Electric Boogaloo and the National Authorization Defense Act that was signed
National
under
Defense
Obama.
Authorization Act.
national. Yeah, I butchered that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's okay.
These
We
are
all want to re-implement the draft.
yeah,
So much
we all
fun.
want to yeah. But the whole idea of this fallacy of having to build a wall is just imprisonment. It's not
Yeah.
going to save anybody. All it's going to do is restrict the freedom of movement for both those coming in and for those coming out. It's going to restrict trade. It's going to enforce the notion of tariff institution of higher tariffs that hurt us more than anything because you got to import. We don't make anything much around here, anyways. And what we do make, we have to gain our materials and our minerals from elsewhere for such manufacturing. And of course, the consumer economy that we live in, it's all coming in. So it's all import based. So with a quote unquote wall, you're shutting it down. Now, obviously, in the United States, you're talking about a wall just at the southern border. Where do you think most of the labor comes from for this country? Because nobody wants to fucking work in this country anymore. Why do you think we have a minimum wage? The labor is coming from south of the border.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get rid of the labor market. So and then you can tack on and start adding on. Well, how about what is this UBI? What is this universal beneficial income base that they've been talking about, implemented under the campaign promises of Andrew Yang. What's his party called now? Forward Party.
Yeah.
He's
Forward
starting a new.
party, uniparty, whatever you want to call it.
It's all bullshit. I mean, they all work together. They all fuck each other. They all play golf together. I mean, they all these ideas are embraced. I mean, hell, it was under Trump who utilized a portion of Andrew Yang's 2020 campaign promise of UBI during the presidential primaries that were implemented during the COVID regime of the lockdown. What do you think the checks that were the stimulus checks that were going out to individuals as well as the PPE, but the individual checks that they sent out? That's
Yeah.
UBI. That's a little sliver of that idea. All happened under the Trump administration. Now, of course, Trumper would stop me and say, "Well, with the demo, the Senate was majority Republican. It's a uniparty. You have at the time you had a Democratic majority House, you have a Republican majority Senate, and then you have a sit-in Trump. I don't even want to know what to call Trump. Trump wasn't Democrat or Republican. Trump was just the epitome of unifying the parties because he is a 1990s liberal and a 1980s conservative
Conservative.
Democrat.
I'd like to go back to Obama's, but that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. At least Obama's budget was a little bit truthful. I mean, he's still a dick. He's still a dictator in waiting. We are on his third term because there's no way that Joe Biden is president.
Yeah.
Physically, yes. Physically, yes. But I'm quite sure that Barack Obama goes to the White House every day
Yeah.
to get sniffed
He says, Michelle, come on, it's time for Barack the Booty Obama to get some passion.
from Joe Pedo Pete Biden.
No, listen, like I was saying before, it's a work, right? Or
It's
shoot,
all at work. Or both.
you know, in the 1940s, was it? There was a plane that crashed into a building in New York City.
Yeah. It was a little
It's,
biplane crashed into the Empire State Building.
it's almost like, they're looking on their playbooks.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, don't forget the Northwood documents and the plane, the remote control planes that were being described to be used on American cities and blamed on Cuba so we could go to war with Cuba because they were communists
we'll forget
in the
about.
60s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, whole building catches on, a whole skyscraper catches on fire over in England, burns for ever and ever, never collapses.
Never collapses. But you know, jet fuel melts steel beams, right?
Yeah.
It gets hot enough and melts those steel beams. Even
So
though
they
you
say.
could, even though, even on the news, even when you were watching the news, like we were kids, we were like 12, 11, 12, even watching the news, which they all had the news on, especially if you were in school, that we basically stopped school just to watch the news. I mean, you watch you watch the clips of these towers crumbling, and you can see the bangs, the
Yeah.
flashes of something. Like you know that somebody went in overnight or within the matter of like weeks and attached explosive devices where they needed to be in precise fashion. They were planning this. Could have been the Saudis, could have been the American government, could have been Mossad, could have been Iran, could have been just 19 pissed off Al Qaeda backed hijackers.
Could be
Doubtful.
insurance claimants.
Could be insurance claimants. I mean, what was the guy's name? I forgot his name, but the guy that was actually in charge of the World Trade Center property.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It doesn't.
well,
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
it
I
doesn't
mean,
really matter.
people can look it up for themselves.
Yeah, people can look it up, but there's an
You're allowed to
interesting.
ask questions, but you're not allowed to investigate.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah.
You can ask all these questions, and then once you start asking questions, you just kind of get
Hmm.
disappeared.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go and look for it, and I mean, you could probably just like creepy. You could probably type in creepy, like weird interview of 9/11. I don't know, but like you can look it up. I forget the guy's name. Someone who listens is gonna know the guy's name. But the creepiness is there was an interview like just like I think days after the incident, and he basically just says, well, they just said, oh, we were talking and we just we just said go ahead and pull it, just pull it. And they're talking. He's talking about World Trade Center
So,
7,
yeah,
yeah, which had no real reason to collapse. It didn't get hit by a plane. It
office
was barely
fires.
office fires. Office fires of what? It was the one that didn't really get hit with anything. Why didn't building 2, 3, and 5 get hit worse? And they didn't collapse. Interesting, right?
Yeah,
Those 2, 3, and 5 were closer to the towers, but building 7 collapses because of office fires.
I almost feel like that one guy we're not supposed to talk about that has a website that they're not supposed to talk about called ban.you-know-what.video.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Do 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 do.
Jesus, I'm watching this Stanford Southern California game, and it is already 28-14, and in the 3 minutes left in the second quarter, not even halftime, both teams have over 300 yards of offense. That is just no defense.
Insane, man. I never
It's
understood. Never understood sports, man. I was always a politics kid ever since I was a kid.
you were a politics kid? That
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
Why politics?
It's just my bread and butter.
Yeah, but aren't we supposed to be anti-politics?
Damn it. Cut.
Uh, we're supposed to be anti-political, but it's very, very difficult to not endeavor into politics. That is the
Yeah.
truth. You can't. I mean, everything is so politicized anymore. It's hard to. Even watching like college football, there's so much politics endeavored into it. I
Yeah.
mean, just with the expansion, especially with the media and the media rights and the television contracts, the new name, image, and likeness bills that have been passed statewide that have allowed players to be able to get paid off of their name, image, and likeness, be able to get sponsored. I mean,
That's the power of
it
YouTube
is.
sponsorship, according to my brother.
YouTube sponsorship.
That's the power
Let's
of YouTube sponsorship. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet.
do we want YouTube sponsorship though?
We'll talk about it once we get the money coming in. Woohoo! $1
Ooh, $1.
becomes the
One
money.
one Bitcoin Cash.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 dollar, 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 dollar.
Shane O'Mac just left the building again.
Yeah.
Shane O'Mac though was a hell of a high flyer. I will give him that.
Dude, it's crazy. No
Mm-hmm.
normal person would jump that, make the jumps he jumped.
He
But
did,
he
didn't
didn't
he?
have to do as many matches as everybody else did, so I
That
guess
is
that makes
true.
sense.
It would make sense, but the fact is like he did some stupid shit because he didn't have to be in a match every night. He just had to
Yeah.
show up sometimes as his character. But hey, you get bored when you're the son of the chairman of the board
Yeah.
and the whole family runs it, and like the whole family ends up on television. Why not? I you got to respect the McMahon family, really. They
Yeah.
built they built an empire, and it finally has to fall.
Vince built an empire.
Vince did. He expanded off his father's what worldwide wrestling,
And his
founded
father,
Titan Sports.
yeah, his father's corpse.
Hmm. But he expanded. He made his father's
Yeah.
corporations actually into. He actually corporatized it. He incorporated it, expanded it, and utilized the market, cornered the market, and was successful.
Exploited it.
He did. He exploited it numerously. I mean, and he was willing to adapt at least at the time, like through the 80s, he adapted. Through the 90s, he adapted. And when he knew like WCW was gaining steam, specifically in the 90s, he realized, okay, time to listen to people, to what the audience wants. The audience wants edgy. Well,
Edge.
I'm gonna give edginess, attitude with a WWE twist and be more and they were more creative about it. Whereas WCW, as real as it seemed, it got old and stale real quick because eventually it just became NWO or
Yeah.
NWO ripoffs, and everybody it just was NWO taking over, like NWO taking over. The New
Yeah.
World Order's taking over.
Well, speaking of the New World Order taking over, I think it's time for us to take our sponsor spot. Thank you very much. We will see you in
George
a minute.
Soros. Thank you, George Soros. I
Yes.
love your contribution. You too, Henry Kissinger. Happy almost 100th birthday.
Yeah. And we're back. And actually, we've got some fan mail here I'd like to read if it's okay. And it looks like it's a story that they think is very funny. It goes, I was shooting heroin and reading the Fountainhead in the front seat of my privately owned police cruiser when a call came in. Put a quarter in the radio and activated. It was the chief. Bad news, detective. We got a situation. What? Is the mayor trying to ban trans fats again? Worse. Someone just stole $447 million worth of bitcoins. The heroin needle basically fell out of my arm. What kind of monster would do something like that? Bitcoin is the ultimate currency, virtual, anonymous, stateless. They represent true economic freedom. No subject are not subject to arbitrary manipulation by any government. Do we have any leads? Not yet. But mark my words, we'll get to figure out who did this, and we're going to take them down, provided someone pays us a fair market rate to do so. Easy, Chief, I said. Any rate the market offers is by definition fair. He laughed. It would. That's why you're my best. I got Lazowski. Now you go get out there and find those bitcoins. Don't worry, I said. I'm on it. I put a quarter in the siren. 10 minutes later, I was on the scene. It was a normal office building, strangled on all sides by public sidewalks. I hopped over them and went inside. Home Depot presents the police, I said, flashing my badge and my gun and this small picture of Ron Paul. Nobody move unless you want to. They did. Oh wait, no, they didn't. Now, which one of you punks is going to pay me to investigate their crime? No one spoke up. Come on, I said. Don't you understand that private property is the foundation of all personal liberty? It didn't seem like they did. Seriously, guys, without a strong economic motivation, I'm just going to stand here and not solve this case. Cash is fine, but I prefer being paid in gold bullion or autographed Ben Gillette posters. Nothing. These people were stonewalling me. It's almost like they didn't care a fortune of computer money it invented by drugs was missing. Just a second. Where was I at? Dang it. I figured I could wait them out. I lit several cigarettes indoors. I lit several cigarettes indoors. A pregnant lady coughed, and I told her that secondhand smoke was just a myth. Then a man in glasses made a break for it. Subway eat and fresh free scumbag! I yelled. Too late. He's already out the front door. I went after him. Stop right there! I yelled as I ran. He was faster than me because I had always tried to avoid stepping on public sidewalks. Our country needs a private sidewalk voucher system, but thanks to the incestuous interplay between our corrupt federal government and the public sidewalk lobby, it will never happen. I was losing him. Listen, I'll pay you to stop, I yelled. What would you consider an appropriate price point for stopping? I'll offer you a 13th of an ounce of gold and a gently worn bar 08 extra large long sleeve t-shirt. He turned. In his hand was a revolver, and that the Constitution said he had every right to own. He fired at me and missed. I pulled my own gun, put a quarter in it, and fired back. The bullet lodged in the bullet lodged at a USPS mailbox less than a foot from his head. I shot the mailbox again on purpose. All right, the man yelled, throwing his hands down. I give up, cop. I give up. I confess. I took the bitcoins. Why'd you do it? I asked, as I slapped a pair of Okino's Greek yogurt presents handcuffs on the guy. Because I was afraid. Afraid? I'm afraid of economic future from the pernicious meddling of central bankers, he said. I'm a central banker. I wanted to cold cock the guy. Years ago, a central banker killed my partner. Instead, I shook his head. I shook my head. Let this be a message to all you central bankers, fiends out there on the streets. I said, no matter how many bitcoins you steal, you'll never take away the dream of an open society based on the principle of personal and economic freedom. He nodded because he knew I was right. Then he swiped his credit card to pay me for the rest of him. Jesus Christ.
Goddamn central bankers.
Where did you get that from? It's hard enough to read this thing when Jesus Christ. Okay, thanks for the fan mail. Well, I guess that is real possible.
That is possible actually, because nothing's fair in this world and nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as utopia. So you could theoretically you could get yourself a sponsor heavy, endorsement lobbied, private yet corporately based dystopian society, almost like Blade Runner, if you really think about it. You could
mean,
theoretically see a society like fall into that, but
I'm
I
cool.
still think,
I'm cool with Home Depot presents the police.
hey, yes, I'm cool with Chick-fil-A freeze.
Hey, stop and freeze, Buster. This is Chick-fil-A.
I don't know if they would stop freeze and frisk though. It might be against their religion.
Mm,
Just
I guess
open up
the
on
market will
just
have to determine.
yeah, the market is determining. Open up on Sundays, Chick-fil-A. I want a chicken sandwich on fucking Sundays. And you're closed. I don't
You know
give a
what I
shit
want for
about
Chick-fil-A? I want them to put the ketchup on the sandwich. Not make me do it while I'm driving down the interstate trying to get to work on time.
yeah, but you still got the special sauce. That's even
Yeah.
better. You can actually tell. I actually speaking of that, I have actually told them put the ketchup on the sandwich. They
Yeah.
did. They actually put the sandwich in. They're very
I
nice
asked
about it
well,
too.
maybe it's because you're at a different location. The
Maybe.
one I did it at, they never did. They
Mm,
just hate me. Everybody hates me. I'm black though. What do you? I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything
fucking.
to do with my life.
I think it has something to do with their scumbag Christian conservatives.
No,
The
pickles will never
conservative.
touch.
There's. I kind of like that idea.
Just
I I I
they
pref
did.
I pre I prefer to put the touch the pickles myself.
Mm, this is
Phrasing.
why they need to privatize the police because this kind of thing wouldn't
hmm
go down in my Capistan.
Mm-mm. Nope,
Welcome
nope.
to
Maybe
Capistan, where every man can be a king.
we might have Ancapistan soon though, man. As soon as
Hey,
Jreg,
Jreg is working on it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. As soon as he wins
negative
Ottawa,
borders. You know,
negative borders. Exactly.
make Ottawa great.
We're going.
We're gonna actually move to a place where it actually has principles, where they have borders and everybody gets a government job and only works 1 hour a week.
I love it. I love it. Wonder how much we'll make with that
Hmm.
1 hour a week government job. Infinite, because we can just print the money.
Yeah. Well, they have their
Yeah,
own private currency too. So
yeah.
like,
I
you think
love
he's
it.
gonna win?
Do I think he's actually gonna win? Probably not, but I love it because first off, the comedy of it is gold. Secondly, it expands his content, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And then third, it's basically it's a stick in the mud. Like
Mm,
he's telling the establishment up there and
yeah.
local Ottawan politics, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So do I think he's gonna win? No. That would be a fallacy. It's and he knows that. It's a joke. But if he
I think he's
wins,
gonna win. He's getting more views.
well, I
Just because he
mean,
doesn't win the election doesn't mean he doesn't win.
well,
Doesn't win the
yeah,
content.
he's definitely gonna win in that regard. He's not
Yeah.
gonna win the election.
See, it's very
Um,
subjective.
hmm
Win can mean a million different things.
exactly. No, he's definitely gonna. He's probably gained so many more views and
Yeah.
subscribers just because of this. That I mean, that's awesome. We should get J-Reg on.
Yeah.
We
And
should.
economic invincibility and Kenny from Mental Outlaw and about everybody else that we can think of that we like to watch on YouTube that
We should get
obviously is,
Kenny.
yeah.
That'd be cool as fuck to get Kenny.
I don't even know how to get in contact with him. So,
I don't know.
yeah.
Message him on YouTube. Comment on one of his pages.
Comment, like, and
Join us.
subscribe because it really helps beat the algorithm.
Wink, wink,
Nudge, nudge,
wink, wink.
nudge, nudge.
hmm But comment, like, yeah, smash that like button, comment whatever you like, and subscribe. Hit that bell.
Sorry, I didn't realize my alarm was still set.
His alarm was still stuck, and it sounded like Alexa.
Yeah, well, that's Android for you.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, about that little joke though. What do you think? Is that a possibility? Is that a good? Is that joke a more basis on the
It's more
reality? What?
realistic than the incorporations of actual cities in the United States that currently stand.
Yeah, I agree. And I think and we were talking about this our last episode with Arvin, the private city idea.
Mm.
I mean, what 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 would be so wrong with privatizing a city? I mean, purchasing land, going back to the old standard of purchasing land on your own regard, getting together with a community of different individuals that are investing into expanding uh, a settlement, such as the Gatson uh, uh, purchase of Alaska or the Louisiana purchase. I mean, from France.
Well,
I
are you ready
mean,
to capitulate? The one thing that's going to stop all that is that nobody
hmm
will pay for light lampposts.
nobody should pay for lampposts. The one that
It's
owns the one,
legitimately. I've watched entire videos about how anarcho-capitalism can't work because nobody will be willing to pay for lampposts.
but
That's their whole
why
response.
why would you want why would you want light pollution? I want to see the stars, baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, and I mean, yeah, why should everybody have to chip in? I mean, you think that street lamps are a necessity. That's
Yeah,
not really a necessity. I mean, the roads are a necessity. Roads are a necessity. Yeah, my roads. We're going to talk about roads. It would be better to privatize and have a private entity, private business, or a group of different individuals or a community of people living within their own little neighborhood that get together and invest so that they can maintain. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, it happens in condominium associations with their parking lots and their service roads. How do you think they're able to maintain it? Privately, of course. That's, I mean, you pay an ass load. Well, most of these people are very well off, but you pay a good chunk of change for the fees, the condominium fees and the association fees to live there. And that actually, for the most part, in most condominium associations, it goes back to the community. I mean, in which they can maintain their pool or their fitness center or their community center or their roads, their service roads,
or their
obviously
public
their
parks.
their parking lot, their parks. They can, they expand they expand their community. They make it look nice. The landscaping, I mean, they beautify it, and then of course they maintain the structure, the infrastructure of the complex, so that it's not a disheveled mess. And then you can look out onto the public road. That's yeah, especially in any major city like especially like Cincinnati, especially on the west side of Cincinnati, and you just see cracks and potholes and just just pieces of asphalt floating up because they don't have the means. Well, they have the means, but they don't use the funds that they get correctly because it all goes back into the pockets of those who are in power or those who they kick back to for other bullshit pieces of bullshit. Um,
But I mean, you
that
heard Arvin. He said that at the end of every at the end of every season or whatever every year that the money that they don't spend they had to spend. So
they have to, yeah, they have to spend. Yeah, and he's exactly right. Like it's all bureaucracy and every time, and this doesn't have to be just governments. This is just any budgeted department of any company does this. on the smaller scale, you want to have a bigger budget, and typically it's to get a bigger budget. So you spend all your money towards the end on bullshit so that you can get more money because it looks like you spent all of it on things that you needed to spend it on and you didn't because you still need the necessities, so you get a bigger budget. And that's what bureaucratic government institutions do. That's what your parks and recs and your zoning departments do. That's what your education departments do, et cetera, et cetera. They hold on to the money that they get every year, and then they waste it away on silly little things. I mean, it could be as little as it doesn't even go. It could be as little as a nice little cushy bonus for the people up top, padding their pockets, buying themselves a jet ski, or it could be something actually really really nice for where everybody gets a motorcycle. Everybody gets a motorcycle. You get a motorcycle, and you get a motorcycle, and you get a motorcycle. You know, like Oprah,
Mm.
and then they get more money. The budget, then they go back. They reaccount their budgets, well, and they get even more money for the year.
And they
And then
hang
they
out
waste.
with Korean dictators in Japan.
They hang out with Korean dictators in Japan with the obviously 14-year-old prostitutes. There's
Now,
no way.
think about
They're
it, okay? The context of prostitution is entirely different in Japan as it is in the United States.
Oh, I'm not saying anything about the
I've been
prostitutes.
to the
There's a
soap
market
lands
for.
all the time. I love the soap land. Believe me, there's no other soap land better than Japan's.
No,
Okay?
no, I have no
You
problem.
got to
I
get
mean,
clean every once in a while. I mean, come on.
hmm
Everyone needs to take a bath.
everybody needs to take a bath. Everybody needs to take a massage or get a massage.
Even
Deshaun, I'm
Japanese
talking to you,
government,
Deshaun.
Japanese government even says the army should play into their services. It's just stressful working for the army.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a market for everything. Let's just put it like that. Like, and nothing should be illegal. Nothing should be prohibited because there's a market for everything, and everybody,
Mm.
and regardless of whether it's virtuous or vicious, if it's not hurting anybody but yourself, who cares?
Mm. And if it is
Someone's
hurting
making money.
somebody, buy an insurance bond for it.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
that's why we have insurance. And that's why in a free market better you'd have better insurance policies out there, more affordable, cheaper, more competitive, wouldn't have monopolies
yeah,
because only government creates monopolies because government is the biggest monopoly. They need
monopoly on
to, yeah.
violence with a monopoly and a perspective.
hmm So,
That's why we share a different perspective because we're not the government.
hmm
We're not here to force people to abide by the social norms of the collective.
hmm hmm and so what if we're being ruled by a bunch of pedophiles, man? If they want to be pedophiles, just keep it the fuck away from me and go wither away somewhere. I'm gonna divorce from you, and when I divorce from you and the rest of society divorces from you, natural selection will displace you and you will wither away into nothing.
Nothing's
We don't
going.
have
Nobody's going to get or going saying you can't kill pedophiles.
exactly. You can go, yeah. I can divorce from them and stay the fuck away. And and Tommy, Tommy Eichenberg, badass by the way, can slam them down and kill them with one swoop hit. Yeah, that's right.
It's
OH.
it's all about helicopters. It's all about wood chippers and all about bricks.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we divorce, and then what we do is me and you, we get on the crypto exchange, and we start selling off crypto bonds in place of setting bets on assassinations of pedophiles.
I
See what
mean,
happens.
it's called a futures market for a reason, right?
Exactly. We set up the futures market for the assassination of pedophiles with
I'm
the
okay
first
with it.
with the first person on the list, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Second person, Joe Biden. Third, Hunter.
Forget about. No, we need Hunter because he needs to run his
No, no,
crack
no,
house
no,
on
no,
Telegram.
no, no. We need Hunter. We need Hunter. We need Hunter. We have him. We'll tie him down so he can't go out and do his business.
I am down. He's already got photos leaked of him being tied down. I don't think that's going to make any differences. They've even got puppies in the picture.
Yeah, that's a little ate
That's
up.
messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The puppies. Like, why puppies, man?
I mean, we can
We,
just take the girls out of the room and beat the shit out of them. I mean, I'm okay with
hmm
that.
That's fine. But the
Yeah,
puppies,
I got a CIA at the door next to tomorrow.
do
Made
you?
physical threats against the vice president or the president's son. Yeah, what if I did? You gonna kill me? I'm just waiting to
Yes,
die anyways.
yes, yes. No, they're not gonna kill you. They're gonna
See,
tie you
that's the
up.
worst torture. Is that I tell you I'm waiting to die, and you're like, oh, we're gonna let you
Yeah.
live.
No, no, no. What they'll do is they'll show up to your house, kick open your door in the middle of the night, kidnap you, throw you or put a bag over your head, throw you in a black van, and then ship you off to somewhere.
Hmm.
Where that somewhere is, I don't know. And they'll keep you there. They may not even torture you. They'll just put you in a dark, damp cell somewhere, middle of
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, they're running out of black sites in Chicago, so it can't be Chicago. That's why
Hmm.
they're basically letting the laws of the jungle operate because they don't have no black sites anymore, and the prisons are full. Yeah,
Exactly. That's the whole
we're
point of
not
the
supposed to have
funda.
black sites in the United States for citizens, but you're not supposed to talk about Chicago either. So
Chicago has black sites. New York has black sites. Los Angeles has black sites. Houston, I'm quite sure. Miami. Oh, Miami definitely because of the
you know what the biggest
cartel
black
war.
site is, don't you? The state of Wyoming. Nobody goes to Wyoming.
Nobody goes to Wyoming.
The
No,
biggest black
Wyoming.
site in Wyoming
Actually,
is in Afton,
hmm
home of the world's largest elkhorn bridge or whatever you want to call it. Arch. Yeah. World's largest elkhorn arch. I wouldn't know anything about that. I didn't used to live there.
what goes down in the secret layer
I
of
don't know.
that
I was
arch?
only there for 3 months. We were between houses, in between jobs. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful place, though.
I believe it. That's why we're gonna take over Wyoming and we're gonna call it Texas too. We're gonna restart the Republic of Texas
Yeah.
without communism, without Texas
Well,
communism, I should
technically,
say.
wouldn't that make us communists? Because we've asserted a control over land that wasn't ours. Or would that be making us egoists because no
Fuck.
one was willing to fight for it?
That we're just squatters.
We're
We're
adverse
moving
possessors.
we're we're squatters.
Hey, as long as
We're
we
at
sign the paperwork and there's
what
nobody
paper.
there to argue for it, we adversely possess the property. We pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what
Pay the
happens.
bills.
This is how it works, okay? When there's an economic capitulation like in
Mm-hmm.
2008, you go to one of the banks of the people that went out of business and
Mm-hmm.
they've got a bunch of paperwork and stuff like that they got to process through, and then nobody owns the property because the bank's out of business and it's being purchased by other people. Then
Mm-hmm.
you go into the local city hall and sign adverse possession paperwork, and then you go and squat on the property and you pay the bills until, hey, you got a brand new house.
And usually it's about what is it? The
About a
term is
year,
typically, is it about a
year to
year?
three
It
years,
can
I think.
it depends on the jurisdiction too. It could be
Yeah,
1 to 3 years or it could be anywhere up to like 10
10
years. But
years. Yeah,
typically it's
that's crazy,
that's
isn't it?
yeah.
People go and buy houses, and other people just go squat in it for 10 years, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this is
And
my
it's like
property now because I know the
mm-hmm.
work how the legal system works."
Mm-hmm.
And then the neighbors are sitting there bitching and screaming because they're paying $100,000 for a house that was worth $125,000 a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
While the neighbors are
And
smart and just paid it off for nothing.
you know what that you know what that's you know what the mortgage market is?
Yeah,
It's futures, man.
yeah.
It's just betting. It's betting on the collapse. That's all it is. And your mortgage is constantly being traded off between other banks. I'm like, that's when and the price is always fluctuating. The market is volatile because it's all worked on one monetary means of exchange.
The centralized monetary system.
Where in reality, you're exactly right. All you really have to do is just go in and say, hey, I want this property. It's been abandoned. Sign everything. I'll pay it off. I'll live there. I'll maintain it.
Pay it off.
Mom.
You don't
Well, you
pay it
don't pay it off.
off.
You don't pay it off, but you pay it off. Well, you do kind of pay it off with the labor of maintaining it
Yeah,
because you got to maintain it in some capacity. Obviously, in order for you to live there, you want to maintain it. You want to make sure that it's, yeah, you don't necessarily pay it off through financial means, but you just squat there and you maintain.
yeah. I'm homeless, man,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm
you're just
proud.
homeless. Yeah, maybe that's the reason why Tennessee wanted to make it illegal for the parks. They didn't
Uh,
want them adversely
Possessing the
possessing the
park.
park.
Let's ask Dave Smith, and we'll find out next
Dave
week.
Smith.
Dave, same channel, same time, same action.
Speaking of that, hey Dave, let's talk about them parks.
Yeah, and
Calling you out,
them
Dave,
roads.
and them roads.
Yeah, he's never gonna hear us. Notice a
No, no,
senpai, senpai. If you're on Twitter, you see what I'm talking about. I never use Twitter, but when I do, it's for absolutely no reason whatsoever,
just the
just for
troll.
fun. Yeah,
It's just the trolls. That's all Twitter is. It's just a troll, a bunch of morons.
the fucking bird app, man.
It
Or as
is a
Elon
bear.
Musk wanted to call it titter.
Titter. We're just here to change perspectives, man, and we
Yeah,
may or
if
may
you, if
not
you
need
if you're
Elon Musk.
listening to us for legal advice, you got a lot of problems.
If you're listening to us for legal advice, you're probably fucked in the mind. You got a few screws loose in
Yeah,
your head, just like us.
listen, we're not here to give you advice. We're just here to give you perspective, different ins and outs of the legal system that we've picked up on over the years. So,
The legal system is fucked anyway. It's all
yeah.
positive law bullshit. Go read a law book. Literally, go read a thick 2,000 page Juris Doctrine book. I don't know what the hell to call it, but yeah, go read one of those law books.
And
It's just
you're
it's
not
all
considered a citizen unless you live in the district. You were born in the District of Columbia and live in the District of Columbia. Otherwise, you're considered property of the District of Columbia, and
you
that's a
are.
fact.
That is
And
a fact. That
I've got a whole list of that kind of stuff I could probably rattle off next time
well, I
if I
mean
ever
it, it
wanted to.
it goes well. Speaking of that, it goes straight back to the 1871 Reorganization Act that essentially reorganized the United States, Washington, the District of Columbia, and it reorganized the United States into a collective of different districts. Yeah, a number of the states were now districts. You had the District of Columbia created. Washington became the center headquarters, not a capital. That's why it's Washington, D.C., not Washington City. It was Washington City, but prior to 1871, it was called Washington City. Why is it called D.C. now? It's Washington, D.C. because it's Washington of the District of Columbia. And on top of that, if you read every any document pertaining towards the United States of America or any of the states, like I'm from Indiana, the state of Indiana, or the Commonwealth of Kentucky, or Commonwealth of Virginia, state of South Carolina, where Andrew's at. If you'll always notice that in the headline or any time that the state or the United States is mentioned, it is all capitalized. That is a title for a corporation. All corporations are titled in capitalization. The United States of America is not a nation state, it is a corporation. It was restructured after the Civil War because, I mean, they had to. They had to pledge the assets and they were in debt. They were in severe debt. Washington was in severe debt because they printed excess funny money to,
Greenbacks.
yeah, the greenbacks, yeah. They with in order to finance the war effort as the South was plundered and stripped of all of its wealth. So they became a corporation. And that's why the United States, that's why it was so easy for the industrialists and the large monopolists of the era to manipulate the government, and why you had so savvy attorneys that were able to utilize the newly uh, amended law of the 14th Amendment to twist that corporations were a person, um, and why you had so many banker assets, especially those backed by the Rothschilds or the Warburgs, that were able to influence the rise of the Federal Reserve, the central bank, because we're a corporation. We're not we're not a country. We haven't been a nation since 1871.
Yeah, and don't forget this conspiracy of the Titanic and how it was taken down so that they could pass the Federal Reserve System. But I mean, that's just conspiracy like everything else.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's theoretical, I guess. I mean, wasn't there it was a very influential like politician that was on that boat or something that died. There's probably a bunch of them actually that
Yeah.
could have stopped it, or I don't know. Who knows?
Just remember, no matter what, they had the money to cover up all their tracks because they have a monopoly on the money supply.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They
don't forget, tomorrow's 9/11. There's questions, but there's no answers. There's not a lot of answers.
and while you're not thinking of 9/11, enjoy the first Sunday of NFL football, everybody. And gracious Roger Goodell, National Football League communism. The Steelers and the Bengals play in Cincinnati here. Going to be a great game, I would assume. I'm probably not going to watch it. I could care less about the NFL.
Yeah. Well,
But
as
I
long as they
watch.
win for Harambe, that's all I care about.
That's the only reason why I care about the Bengals, man, is Harambe.
Yeah.
And in 2024, I might vote for Harambe again.
Like
It's
George Carlin said, he had something when at the end of the election day.
hmm
So, anyways,
that's what
we're
we should
almost out
do
of
is
we're almost out of time here.
we should write in George Carlin. This is a joke.
It to work.
It's all a word. Because
Yeah.
democracy is a fallacy, the mob is tyranny, and you're not sovereign. The government owns you. You are a servant to the government. The government is not a servant to you. And elections are not free. And if the voting actually did anything, they would make it illegal.
Exactly. But
As
what's
Emma
not
Goldman
illegal
said.
is checking out Hunter Biden's crack house on Telegram. We have lots of memes. If we ever get enough people come by and communicate, we're still working on it.
Um,
We still got 9 people here,
hmm
so
So come by, join the conversation. We don't you don't have to meme. You can shoot the shit. You can debate and talk about anything intellectual and on pursuits of knowledge, or you can goof off and cause a bunch of shenanigans.
I
We
think
like
we actually had
shenanigans.
somebody else besides us posting there recently, which I'm very happy about.
I'm 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 ecstatic on that. We did actually. It was like a month ago.
See how slow things go.
Yep, yep. It's a process. You got to trust the process,
Yeah,
as the Philadelphia 76ers would say.
we'll get over soon enough. Just give it time. Keep trying, man. Keep trying. But until then,
You're
hit us up on Telegram. Hit us up on
you're
Twitter.
freezing.
I'm freezing. Can you hear me?
Technical difficulties.
Well, like I was saying, hit us up on Telegram, hit us up on Twitter. Um, you know, send us an email. I don't know.
That was a little weird. You were freezing.
Send us a DM. Yeah, it's the Chloe's. It's the CIA and the FBI. It's because I mentioned about the thing about Hunter Biden and violence.
Something about that. You should have said Donald Trump is guilty.
Yeah.
That would have been provided to the narrative that they want to create.
Donald Trump is guilty, and I am an NPC blue-pilled good citizen.
Yay, Ukraine! Go Ukraine! Yeehaw!
I have
Woohoo.
20 masks that I wear out every day in my car.
I've injected myself with Pfizer vaccines 25 times. I am okay. I have issues of myocarditis. It's hard for me to walk without losing my breath. But it's okay. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
All hail Ukraine. I love Zelensky. I mean Anthony Fauci. I mean Joe Biden.
Well,
Shit, I can't keep it straight.
I'm gonna go and apply for squatting slabs and tracksuits on Facebook, and maybe I'll get into the group. So until next time, I'm Andy
Maybe.
Joseph.
And I'm the legacy of Buckeye Zach.
See ya.
Let's squat.
I'm missing my tracksuit. See ya.
You need your tracksuit.
Oh, definitely.